Hey now, how's it going, guys? I know it's been a long time since I've just done a video, and mostly been focusing on the podcast. But I want to start out, as always, with gratitude for everyone that's you know been still watching the videos and catching on to me, recently and sending me messages and emails. Um, and I definitely want to thank all the people that have been listening to the podcast and all the people that have come on as guests. It's been really cool. I really like doing the podcast. I've gotten a lot of emails though saying they miss the videos I was doing and wish I would do that. So I'm going to try to you know maybe get a video out a month or so, but once a month or something like that. But we've been really trying to get ahead of ourselves and record a bunch of podcast episodes because I have just been slammed with emails about people wanting to be on it, and that's great. And I want to give everyone a chance. Like I said, I kind of want this podcast to be like an open mic. I don't want it to just be Stan and I talking about stuff that there's no chance that we know as much as some of you guys. And so I like having everyone on that has kind of, some experience with other things that we don't know about and to tell their story. So we've probably got like 6 months of guests lined up for the podcast, which is just amazing. We're trying to plow through that, but with just time management of the rest of my life and everything like that, it's hard for me to sit down and make the videos. I kind of, after recording so many podcast episodes, I don't have much to talk about in the videos anyway. But also, these take me quite a while because I don't script them out or anything, and every time I mess up, I gotta start over, and I don't really know how to edit video or anything like that. So these take like a couple hours just to sit down and record a half-hour video. But whenever I have a good idea of a video to do, I'm going to try and record. So, uh, again, thank you to everyone sending messages. And, if you haven't been listening to the podcast, check it out. I think it's been really cool. So, and we've had some really good guests on there that I'm really, really happy with. And I'm glad to now call my friends. But today I did have an idea for a video, and I want to try to wing it here. And that is what's been my experience with not only my microdosing regimen, but that involved with my role as a stay-at-home parent and full-time parent, and how the microdosing, I think, has helped me be a better family member. So first off, it's been a year and a half that I've been a stay-at-home dad, and I gotta say, I totally respect every stay-at-home parent there's ever been, because it's the toughest job you'll ever do without getting paid, for sure. And it's probably one of the tougher jobs, even if you did get paid for it. But that being said, I've done a lot of things in the year and a half to get in the swing of it and better my parenting skills. And all of that has added up to me being a better parent. But one thing that it can't be ignored is my experiment with microdosing the past couple months. It really has made me the best parent I've ever been. If that sounds weird, to a lot of people, maybe not to you guys, but to a lot of people, if just out in society, or where, yoga moms that I would run into at the gym or whatever, if I was like, yeah, I've been microdosing while I'm a stay-at-home dad, like most people, that would, that idea is appalling almost, right? Well, that's a damn shame. Much like the negative stigma with psychedelics is a shame across the board, it is especially so in the idea of, that, well, it's okay if you do psychedelic drugs, but you definitely shouldn't do them around children. And that kind of view they just don't understand microdosing anyway in the first place, that you're not, inebriated. But they're just totally denying that there could be a positive benefit, and kind of looking at it as the parent as being selfish, right? And that's just a shame, because I think it's a very, very beneficial thing that I think a lot of parents, people my age and my situation with young kids and stuff like that, I think microdosing can be a very effective tool in like I said, making you a more peaceful, understanding parent, which is important to have. Those are important qualities to have as a parent. A lot of parents get very agitated and angry and yell, and your kids mirror that, and they become angry, agitated, anxious people. And so the more that you can give them a good image, a good, peaceful, loving image for them to mirror, that's better. And who cares if you need a microdose to do that? There's obviously tons of people out there that can just be happy, chipper parents and have this seemingly, endless reserve of energy to be able to deal with kids and be, take care of themselves and go to the gym and do all these things. But for a lot of us, that's really hard, right? And I've just found that the microdosing, LSD especially, but I think that mushrooms would do the same thing. It closes that gap between me and people like me, and the people that can just do it naturally, right? And that can just naturally be good parents. If I went to a psychiatrist with that problem, they would give me a prescription to some pharmaceutical drug. So I don't see that self-medicating myself with LSD. After doing all of the research I've done about it and reading all the books I have about it and having experience with the drug anyway, but then using it with an intention of improving my parenting skills, yes, it is self-medicating, but I think it's an accurate, diagnosis that I've given myself there, and I think I'm treating it accordingly. So I really, what I've noticed that it's changed in me, like I said, it's made me more peaceful and understanding. It's really totally increased my patience, not just with my kids, but with life in general. I've had several things happen in the past couple months that would totally have thrown me for a loop and thrown my stress level through the roof and made me, stop taking care of myself and eat bad and all these self-destructive things that stress causes us to do, right? And I've handled everything in stride, and I owe that much in part to the microdosing regimen. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of things, improving, myself along the way, and that. The thing with that is that none of these, whether you're talking higher doses of psychedelics or microdoses of psychedelics, none of them are a magic pill. Even if you're doing massive heroic doses of psychedelics, you still have to do the work to have that be beneficial. You obviously have to do the work to get through the experience too, But with the microdosing, it's not just, I take this microdose and I'm great. It gives you that little edge, that little courage to be able to stick to your convictions and improve yourself, and do whatever it is you're trying to, to benefit from the microdosing. You still have to put in that work. And I've been doing that with, float tanks and exercise and diet. I have a lot of work to I have farther to go. I have a lot of work to do still. I, definitely want to get into yoga. I need to make more time to meditate. I've been doing that pretty good, but not every day. I definitely need to explore all these other options that are ways to expand your consciousness without psychedelic drugs. I know a lot of people take, higher dosages pretty frequently, but that's one thing that I, as a parent, and anyone else watching this, that is a parent, understands, like, that's kind of hard to do, like, that's really reserved for a couple times a year, just to have the, capability to do it. My kids have gotten to an age, and I've gotten to an age where I'm not comfortable, just tripping by myself in the basement when everyone's asleep upstairs. And it's hard to let go, because I'm like, anytime the house creaks, you're like, oh, as the kid's up, and it just drags you out of that state. Right. So, higher dosage trips, really are only reserved to, a weekend that I can get out of town by myself, or a night where someone takes the kids, and a lot of people, and us included, don't have that option very often. So the microdosing, I feel like, gives you the same benefits to your personality and to your psychology as bigger trips do. Maybe not these huge watershed, spiritual, mystical experience trips, but the benefit there is to tripping regularly. The microdosing does it, but it's just very gradual. It gets to the same place, but it's a much slower process. And I think microdosing is a great way for parents that, like me, don't have the time and the capability and the freedom to do bigger dosage psychedelic experiences. It gives us the opportunity to gradually, over time, get that benefit, and to also get the other benefit of, like I said, having this little crutch that helps us stick to our convictions, because that's very important. As parents, we can get totally, just caught up, and we give all of our energy and all of our life to our kids, which we should, but you should also have some left for yourself. That goes for a marriage too, even if you don't have kids. Like, if you're trying to be the best spouse you can be, you still have to have something left for yourself. You still need to be living for yourself. And, that's another thing that microdosing helps. And especially with the doing the James Fadiman regimen of having a microdose day and then 2 off days, that microdose day really lets you have a day to yourself, not without, your family involved, but I just mean that day you can be a little bit more in your head. You can be a little bit more mindful than, what usually happens with parents, and especially parents with younger kids that you have to take care of a lot and do a lot of things for. It gives you, a little bit of your own day, and that's good. That's a good thing to have, It's just, I'm going to label this video Microdosing Ultimate Parent Hack, because I kind of feel like it is. Because I feel like, even if you're a good parent, even if you don't have a problem, maintaining, being a stay-at-home parent, or just a parent in general, I think you could still even benefit even more and be an even better parent. Like, I think it could really help everybody. And I think that's an area of microdosing that I haven't seen discussed. I know from the emails I've been getting that a big portion of the people that watch this channel and listen to the podcast, are like me, are in their, 30s and have kids, younger kids that they have to take care of, and a lot of questions that people have asked me, and advice and stuff like that. Has to do with people that are kind of in the same situation as me, which makes sense. I mean, like I said in one of the podcasts, your vibe becomes your tribe. I think out of all the videos on YouTube that talk about psychedelics and consciousness and stuff like that, I'm one of the only ones that I've seen on there that's at least very open about, like, being a family man and stuff like that. So obviously I'm going to attract people that are like, hey, I'm a lot like that guy. So I get that. And if any of you watching that are of that portion of the audience or whatever, if you haven't tried microdosing, I really recommend it, and let me know. Send me a message and let me know if you think it's made you a better parent, or if you think it hasn't too. I mean, let me know. I could see if you don't get the right micro dosage, that it could be not a good thing, not a bad thing, but like you would just be like, I don't think I was as sharp as I could be, because that's what I've experienced with microdosing mushrooms. Is some day I would be real sharp, and then some days it would just be like, kind of like a stony feeling, which I don't think that's good for parenting. Like I really enjoy cannabis, but I don't really even ever, but I definitely don't frequently smoke weed or get high and be around my kids. I know some people think that makes them a better parent, and that's great, but for me, I haven't found that. I found it's the opposite. I just end up being lazy, and I'll just play video games with them or whatever, which is cool. That's fine. But I mean, I'll definitely, just kind of be lazy, to where with the microdosing, now it's starting to be winter and it's kind of cabin fever, but when it's nice out, definitely on the microdosing days, I would be like, let's go for a hike, and like, I would be like motivated to go out into nature with my kids. And like, that's such an important thing that, if you're not already doing and you need help doing that, then you definitely should try microdosing, and just going to a park with your kids and hiking and stuff like that. It's a terrific experience, and it really puts you in the moment. And I mean, it's so beneficial for children to have a parent like that, So the other thing that I feel microdosing has helped me be a better husband, not just a better parent, but everyone goes through this if you're married or in a long-term relationship or whatever, where you both play these like mental games to get at each other, like fighting without fighting, just snarkiness and sarcasm and stuff like that. And while maybe this stuff never turns into like a big deal, blow up, breakup kind of thing, it just, ends up being not as healthy of a relationship as you could have with your significant other, right? And a lot of that stuff ends up being just like habitual. Like you don't even realize you're doing it. It's subconscious, And I found that the microdosing really, at least dulls a lot of that subconscious behavior that we have in our relationships, in our friendships, and our relationships with our significant others. That, again, it comes back to that being in the moment. It creates a lot more of in the moment. And in the moment, you don't want to insult or be snarky to your significant other. You don't want to do that. It's our subconscious that makes us like just kind of play these games back and forth. And the way that microdosing like just kind of dulls it, if not even turns it off, I think is just a real healthy thing. And it's made me, like I said, all the stuff about it, how it's made me a better parent. It's made me a better husband too. And I think that's really important. And there's some people that have super healthy relationships and they don't have that problem with it. But like I said, not everyone is that way. So to have a little crutch that helps you, kind of even the playing field with the other people that can have healthy relationships, what's the problem with that? I would think though, it's something that you should definitely talk about with your significant other to make sure that they're okay with you doing that. But you kind of just have to, as long as you're open with them, they have to be open with you, needing that little boost. And it comes down to this, and it's the same with parenting too, is that you need to be the change that you want to see in the world and with yourself. You just need to be the change. The status quo doesn't work for relationships or parenting. You everyone has this need to see a better world, to see a better place, whatever that may be. If it's political or whatever, it doesn't matter. Everyone wants to see improvement, and I believe that microdosing helps you be that change, be that improvement. And the more that you improve, the more you will notice, and the more the world around you will change. And I know there's a lot of people that believe that they shouldn't have kids, because why would you bring kids into this world? Why, this world's so messed up? Why would you do that? And I get that. If that's your feeling, that's fine. I would never tell anyone like, oh man, you got to have kids. It's the best. But having kids is the best. I mean, there's very few parents who are like, I wish I never had kids. Right. And that even goes to show, or that gives you an even better chance to mold the world into what you want it to be for the future. When you are raising kids, you're raising the future people. And, if you want less assholes in the world, well, then do your part to make less assholes, and so that's kind of how I feel with kids is like, I know a lot of people like talk about having kids because they're like, oh, I want someone to take care of me when I'm older and stuff like that. No, I don't care about that. Like, I don't care about me. I really want to raise the best people that I can. And when stress and like society and anxiety and all these, negative emotions and stuff get in the way of doing that, it's actually counterproductive, because you're, like I said, they mirror you, and you're going to make people that are angry and anxious and stuff like that. And that's where, microdosing not only helps me change my personal life into what I want it to be, but it helps me raise these people into the type of people that I want there to be in the future. And like I said, I have found it to just be a parenting life hack. It's just pretty good. I don't know. So, I hope that wasn't too rambly. It's just kind of like these ideas I've been kicking around. And like I said, I've gotten a lot of emails, from fellow parents that, have kind of found the same thing. And it's good to know that, I'm not the only crazy microdosing stay-at-home dad out there. Yeah. So thanks for everyone that sends me emails. The email, by the way, is helpfindtheothers@protonmail.com. There's also the Discord link, which I will put in the description. We've been chatting a little bit on there. I don't get on there that much, but a couple times a week we kind of chat back and forth about this and that. So that's pretty good. And like I said, we've got a lot of guests already lined up for the podcast, and I'm just going to be kind of working through that. But definitely, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, shoot me an email, and eventually we will get you on there. We had our one episode where we had a call-in person to the Google hotline number, voicemail number, and that was definitely cool. So if anyone has a question or wants to direct, the discussion of one of the podcast episodes, definitely call and leave a message on there. And, the other thing I was going to say is, every message I've received, every email, every guest, has been a dude. We've got kind of a sausage party going on. So if there's any females listening that want to add a female perspective to the things that we talk about, I would love to have a discussion about that, and I would love to have a female podcast guest, especially any female, you know, parents out there that watch, you know, and we could talk about the stuff I just talked about in this video, of parenting and not just microdosing, but just parenting and psychedelics in general. I would love to get a female perspective of that. So just throwing that out there. I know I've seen a couple YouTube comments from women, but you know, no one's reached out to be on the podcast or join in the discussion at all. So that would be cool if any of you out there have been watching from the sidelines and not reaching out. That'd be great. But yeah, I guess that's probably it for this video. Again, if you haven't checked out the podcast, check out the podcast. And if you want to reach out, hit me up. Help find the others at protonmail.com. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Bye.